In the small, sun-bleached town of Oakhaven, everyone knew Silas Vance as the quiet, weathered farmer who couldn't read a grocery list, let alone a legal document. The local land developers called him illiterate right to his face, laughing behind closed doors as they plotted to seize his multi-million-dollar valley farm for pennies on the dollar. But what those greedy executives didn't know was that Silas had a secret weapon, his 22-year-old daughter, Maya, a brilliant university student who had just uncovered something hidden inside her father's ancient, rotting barn. It wasn't gold, and it wasn't a hidden stash of cash. It was a centuries-old, hand-drawn map and a leather-bound diary that would completely rewrite the history of the entire county, and put the billionaire developers on their knees. If you think an honest man can be pushed around forever, wait until you see the shocking truth Maya unearthed beneath the floorboards, a truth that turned a broken family into the most powerful players in the state. Silas Vance had worked the soil of the Oakhaven Valley for 40 years, his hands calloused, his back permanently bent from a lifetime of manual labor. He was a man of few words, mostly because he lacked the formal education the town elite wore like armor. When the Apex Development Group rolled into town with luxury SUVs and briefcases full of predatory contracts, they saw Silas as an easy target. They offered him a measly $50,000 for land worth millions, threatening to use eminent domain and local corrupt politicians to force him out if he didn't sign. Silas couldn't read the fine print, but he knew the rhythm of the earth, and he knew his land was sacred. Maya, returning home for summer break, saw the stress carving deep lines into her father's face. She watched him stare helplessly at the legal eviction notices he couldn't comprehend. Determined to protect her father, Maya began a meticulous search of their property, looking for any old deed or historical landmark that could grant them legal leverage against Apex Development. Her search led her to the darkest, forgotten corner of their 150-year-old barn, beneath a stack of rusted tractor parts and rotting hay. As her flashlight flickered against the damp wood, she noticed a loose floorboard with a strange, carved symbol, a symbol that matched a birthmark on her father's shoulder. Heart pounding, she pried the wood open, revealing a heavy iron lockbox wrapped in oilskin. Inside the lockbox lay a pristine, hand-drawn map dating back to 1842, alongside a leather-bound diary written by Silas's great-great-grandfather, a man history books claimed was just a penniless squatter. As Maya carefully turned the fragile pages, her jaw dropped. The diary wasn't just a daily log, it was a beautifully written, highly sophisticated legal journal. Silas's ancestor hadn't been an uneducated squatter, he was a pioneering surveyor who had actually saved the state's first governor from a fatal blizzard. In gratitude, the governor had granted the Vance family a permanent, unassailable, sovereign land patent, a rare legal deed signed by the founding fathers of the state that exempted the valley from any future government seizures, eminent domain, or corporate buyouts. But that wasn't even the biggest shock. As Maya traced the map's faded ink lines, she realized the boundaries of their farm didn't stop at the fence. The original deed actually included the entire grid where the town's brand-new, multi-million-dollar commercial district currently sat. For decades, the local government had been illegally leasing and building on Vance land without paying a single dime in royalties. The illiterate farmer didn't just own a struggling patch of dirt, he technically owned the very ground the corrupt town council and Apex Development were standing on. Maya sat in the dim light of the barn, tears streaming down her face, holding a document that could bankrupt a billion-dollar corporation overnight. She knew she had to act fast, because Apex had already scheduled a public town hall meeting for the following morning to force her father into signing away his rights. She stayed up all night, scanning the documents, cross-referencing state laws, and preparing a trap that the arrogant developers would never see coming. The next morning, Silas walked into the crowded town hall wearing his stained overalls, flanked by Maya, who carried a simple manila folder. The executives smirked, preparing to humiliate the old man one last time. The smirk on the lead developer's face was about to vanish, but the true danger was only just beginning. As Maya stepped up to the microphone in that packed town hall, she knew that exposing a secret this massive wouldn't just save their farm, it would completely upend the lives of every corrupt official in the room. But what she didn't realize was that the developers had a backup plan, a hidden clause in the county charter that could invalidate the ancient deed if it wasn't officially recorded at the state capitol by noon that very day. The clock was ticking, and a simple revelation in a small-town meeting was suddenly turning into a high-stakes race against time. If Maya couldn't prove the authenticity of the governor's signature within the next 45 minutes, Apex Development would still walk away with everything her family owned, leaving Silas with nothing but a worthless piece of history. Take a moment right now and drop a comment below. What would you do if you discovered your family secretly owned the land beneath an entire town? Would you fight the system like Maya, or would you take a massive corporate buyout? Let me know your thoughts, and make sure to hit that like button if you believe honest, hardworking people deserve to win against corrupt billionaires. Your engagement helps ensure stories of justice like this reach the people who need to hear them most. If you want to see exactly how Maya executes this brilliant legal trap and completely humiliates the arrogant corporate executives, make sure you are subscribed to the channel with all notifications turned on. We bring you the most mind-blowing, emotionally satisfying real-life stories every single week, and you won't want to miss our upcoming deep dive into the wildest hidden inheritance cases in modern history. Click that subscribe button right now so you never miss a single twist. The atmosphere inside the Oakhaven Town Hall was suffocatingly tense as the lead executive, a ruthless man named Marcus Vance, no relation to Silas, stood at the podium. He flashed a predatory smile toward the crowd, adjusting his $1,000 suit before clearing his throat to speak. "Ladies and gentlemen," Marcus announced, his voice booming through the sound system, "today we finalize the future of Oakhaven. We are clearing out the old, unproductive elements of our valley to make way for a state-of-the-art commercial hub. Unfortunately, some residents choose to stand in the way of progress due to a lack of understanding." He directed a condescending look right at Silas, who sat quietly in the front row, his weathered hands resting flat on his knees. The crowd murmured, sensing the public humiliation unfolding. Marcus held up a thick legal contract, sliding it across the table toward the old farmer. "Silas, just put your mark or your signature right here. Let's make this easy for you." Before Silas could even lean forward, Maya stepped out into the aisle, her voice ringing clear and steady through the auditorium. "My father won't be signing that contract, Mr. Vance. In fact, by the time I am finished speaking, you are going to be the one begging us for a deal." The room went dead silent. Marcus let out a sharp, mocking laugh, looking to the town council members who sat on the stage behind him. "Young lady, I know you're trying to protect your father, but your family doesn't have a legal leg to stand on. This is an official eminent domain action. The land is ours." Maya didn't flinch. She walked calmly up to the presenter's projector, opened her manila folder, and placed a high-resolution scan of the 1842 sovereign land patent onto the glass. The massive projector screen behind the stage lit up, displaying the elegant, sweeping handwriting of the state's founding governor, complete with the pristine, unbroken wax seal of the original state capital. "This," Maya declared, pointing to the screen, "is a permanent sovereign land patent issued to the Vance family by Governor Alexander Morrow himself. According to federal and state property law, a sovereign patent is supreme. It cannot be overridden by local municipal codes, it cannot be seized by eminent domain, and it entirely supersedes any corporate development charter." Marcus's smile faltered, his face flushing a pale shade of gray as he stared at the document. He frantically signaled to his team of corporate lawyers sitting in the front row. 3 attorneys leaped up, hovering over the projection, their eyes scanning the ancient text with growing panic. Maya didn't give them a chance to recover. She pulled out the second document, the original topographical surveyor's map. "And as you can see from these precise coordinates, recorded and verified by the State Survey Office in 1842, the Vance property line doesn't end at our current wire fence. It extends 3 miles north, covering the exact acreage where your new luxury shopping center currently stands. For 26 years, this town has been encroaching on our private property without our knowledge, because my father trusted the community and never questioned the boundaries." The lead attorney whispered frantically into Marcus's ear, his hands visibly shaking. The town council members looked at each other in utter horror, realizing that if this document held up in court, the entire municipality faced a multi-million-dollar retroactive lawsuit for illegal land use and back rent. Marcus tried to regain his composure, slamming his hand down on the podium. "This is an unverified piece of paper. It's a parlor trick. You can't prove this signature is authentic, and even if it is, the deadline to register historical sovereign deeds under the new county charter expires at noon today. It's 11:15, little girl. You'll never get to the capital in time to validate this. Maya smiled, a calm, victorious expression that sent a shiver down Marcus's spine. She reached into her pocket and pulled out her smartphone, hitting the speakerphone button. A loud, authoritative voice echoed through the town hall speakers. This is Chief Justice Henderson of the State Supreme Court. I am currently sitting with the state archivist, who has just cross-referenced the digital scan sent by Miss Maya Vance 45 minutes ago with our physical master vault. The signature is 100% authentic, the sovereign patent is fully active, and as of 11 o'clock this morning, the Vance family estate has been officially updated and locked in the state registry. The entire town hall erupted into cheers and wild applause. Neighbors who had looked down on Silas for years stood up to applaud the quiet farmer who had just defeated a billion-dollar empire. Marcus collapsed backward into his chair, utterly defeated, realizing his company faced complete financial ruin unless they met whatever terms the Vance family demanded. Silas turned to his daughter, a single tear rolling down his weathered, sun-damaged cheek, his heart swelling with pride. The man they called illiterate had raised a daughter who rewrote their destiny, proving that honesty, heritage, and family loyalty will always triumph over greed.